there are tremendous areas of improvement on the coast. And the beauty of it is that the people on the coast made the decisions. They made the decisions of what should be done for community revitalization. They made the decisions about smart code and zoning and those sorts of things. You can like it or not like it, but in Biloxi today, there are a number of high-rise condos, and before Katrina, there was virtually no high-rise buildings down there, unlike our neighbors in Alabama and Florida, where you see a tremendous number. Now, whether that's going to be the future is going to continue to be limited, whether it's just going to be in one or two towns, or whether it's going to spread up and down the coast. But the beauty of what's been done on the coast is Pass Christian and Bay St. Louis and Ocean Springs have chosen to do things maybe differently from Gulfport or Pascagoula or Biloxi. And that's one of the things the Governor's Commission was very strong about. We want to make people aware of what their options are, of what others have done. But Jackson, much less Washington, is not going to try to tell the people on the coast how to rebuild the coast. There's still things that are unfinished for a variety of reasons. Permitting is part of the reason. Sequencing is part of the reason. You know, one of the things we learned early on, we would clean up debris, and then we would go in and put in water and sewer lines. And then 3 more people who lived in that 4-block area would push the debris from their house to the curb, break the water and sewer lines. And after a couple of times, we kind of figured this out. You had different sequences that were happening where today still at Bay St. Louis, the main front street is not built because the Corps had to decide how they were going to rebuild the seawall. They had to decide where they were going to put the seawall. Then they had to do it and then permit where the city could put the street. You know, these are kind of logical decisions that were about regulations that were in conflict with each other. At the port, you know, tremendous amount of permitting with the Corps, with FEMA. The state still has some insurance questions, though very few are left, as others did. So after 6 years, there are a lot of things that still aren't finished. The port probably won't be finished for another, I hope, 4 years. Some people think it could be as long as 6 years. But part of that depends on Corps of Engineers permitting, as well as the construction. So there's still a great deal to do, but what has been done has been so enormous and monumental. When you think back to where we were 6 years ago, and you had 48 million cubic yards of debris covering devastated parts of Mississippi, and you looked at the coast from a helicopter out over the sound, looked like the hand of God had wiped away the coast. Today, for somebody who didn't really know what the coast looked like beforehand, you drive through neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood, and that person can't tell anything ever happened because it's been rebuilt. Some people who were very familiar go back and say, this is so much for the better. So there's still a lot to do in real terms, but the percentage of what's done is probably in the 80s, maybe 90s of the total effort.